Welcome back. The debate over the safety of Rocky Flats is flaring up once again. A district court judge has been hearing arguments about whether the old nuclear site is still dangerous. Right now, the state's plan is to open the Rocky Flats Wildlife Refuge to trail runners and bicyclists this fall. However, neighbors who either grew up near Rocky Flats or moved here years ago call the plans for hiking and biking on the site sheer madness. And we spoke to people on both sides.
I do believe it's safe. I've taken my kids there.
A shameless type of greed that's willing to put people's health at risk.
There is no such thing as a safe level of exposure to weapons-grade plutonium.
Well, a decision on the site's future is expected soon. We will bring it to you when that happens. Supporters of a free and open internet are applauding a move by Congressman Mike Coffman to reverse the FCC's repeal of net neutrality. Coffman's the first Republican to cross party lines in this effort, introducing his own bill that put many of the protections in the 2015 open internet order into law. And here to talk about why that is significant in the net neutrality battle is Caroline Fry and Nick Janotsis. I slaughtered that, didn't I?
That's good.
I know I did. Both are founding members of Defend Net Neutrality Colorado. I did practice, I promise, and I apologize. Explain this. I mean, give us some background on why this is important to Coloradans or to the rest of the country.
So net neutrality is the principle that all the content on the internet must be treated fairly and equally.
Yeah, so what that essentially means is that anyone who uses the internet, so just stop and think about everything that you use the internet for. We use the internet to take classes online if you're a student, to connect with our friends and loved ones on social media and through email. We use the internet for so many different things. Basically the idea of net neutrality is making so that I can connect to all of that content in a way that you or Nick can as well. So we're all on an equal playing field. It's also really important for small businesses. So if I am a watchmaker in Carbondale, Colorado, and I use the internet in order to sell my watches online, my internet service provider, if we do not have net neutrality, my internet service provider could say, hey, in order for all of Coloradans to be able to go to your website, you need to pay us extra money. So net neutrality protections are put into place to protect small business owners and everyone else who wants to use the internet so that we can all access the internet in a equal way.
Sure. So this ruling then by the FCC threw all of that out. So it's still, it's fair game right now, right?
Correct. Internet service providers right now are allowed to do whatever they want in terms of paid prioritization, throttling, blocking website content. All of that is now fair game.
And so people are seeing that happening right now? Are they feeling the pinch of that yet? So
it was actually just, even though the FCC reversed the rules in December of last year, the reversal actually just went into effect in June. So we've only seen it for about a month now. So we won't feel the true repercussions for some time to come. Although I think it is interesting that Comcast, on the day that net neutrality protections were repealed, took away their pledge, their net neutrality pledge off of their website. I think that's a good indicator of things to come.
And I don't think we'll see many changes right now because it's a hot topic and everybody's keeping their eyes on it. But I think over time we will start to see these changes be implemented.
We saw Mike Coffman talk about net neutrality. He's talked about it a lot, and he said the fight to keep the internet open belongs in Congress, not to the FCC. Do you think that that's a fair argument or a fair push?
I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah. So I think right now, so where we are right now with the battle for net neutrality is that Congress has used something called the Congressional Review Act, which gives them authority to supersede decisions that are made by federal agencies. So the FCC, when they reversed net neutrality, the Senate was able to go in and vote for using the Congressional Review Act to kind of undo what the FCC had done, the rule that had been repealed for net neutrality. So now it falls into the House. Right now we have 177 U.S. representatives who are on board with using the Congressional Review Act in order to reinstate rather the net neutrality protections. So we only need a handful more of U.S. representatives, and we just saw that the dam is really has been broken with Congressman Coffman being the first Republican to step up and
Do you think other
get on board.
Republicans will follow?
Yes, we do.
It's likely, yes.
Yes, it's likely. I have been hearing from some of our folks in D.C. that there have been kind of whispers about Republicans who are starting to get on board with the idea of net neutrality, especially in an election year.
So you think they're getting pressure from their constituents to move this forward?
A recent study from the University of Maryland showed that 83% of Americans support net neutrality. 75% of those were Republicans, 89% were Democrats, and 86% were independents. So it's really, with the general public, it's not a partisan issue. And most Americans support it overwhelmingly.
So where do you see this battle going then? Where do you think things go from here?
I think that right now we need to put pressure onto the remaining U.S. representatives who have not signed on to the Congressional Review Act. Here in Colorado, we have 7 U.S. representatives. 4 of them, most recently Congressman Coffman, have signed on in support of the CRA. Currently, we have Representatives Buck, Lamborn, and Tipton who have not. We want to put pressure onto them, and we want to call them and email them and say, hey, net neutrality is important. This is something that Coloradans want. So if you actually go onto our website, or my website for Colorado Common Cause /action, you can very easily communicate with those representatives and ask them to take action.
Okay, well, thank you both. I appreciate you coming in to help clear the air on what's happening with net neutrality. And
one last comment, we're part of a group called Defend Net Neutrality Colorado, and you can look us up online, and we have a number of followers, and we share information concerning net neutrality.
Okay, thank you both.
Thank you.
Back in a moment.